Hello, all. Good evening. I'm Dr. Soumya, Ayurveda Associate Professor and Consultant, and welcome you all for the follow-up session as well. Yesterday we had, discussed about few things uh, in the webinar as to what are the food articles which we have to include in our daily diet and what we have to not include or exclude from our daily diet. So that is what we had discussed yesterday. I hope that most of us would try to include the do's and don'ts in our daily living. So that could be of benefit. Any questions regarding either yesterday's session or in general, anything about health, anything about the queries of health or your health conditions, you can definitely pop in the questions in the chat box, and I would be really happy to address them. Anything regarding the session or regarding your health condition or anything in general you want to know about Ayurveda, we would definitely would like to address them today. And you can ask it, or in fact any other suggestions you would want to give us regarding the webinars, as to what topic you want to hear, or what is the concern you want us to address in the next coming webinars, that those suggestions also could be given in the chat box. Please feel free to do so. The next half an hour is dedicated for the question and answer session or any suggestions, feedbacks from your end. Yesterday maybe we had discussed few things which probably we wouldn't know, most of us wouldn't know, it could be disputable for few people who like, say for example, sarpi, grita, I mean kshira, and all these could be the controversial things for vegan people. So of course the arid region animals could be, the meat could be controversial for the others. But yeah, so there's a question here: is green gram only include mung bean, or is others included in what is considered green gram? Oh yeah, so green gram is generally called as the mung um, in Hindi, and it is also called as the yeah, it is the moong dal, which is called. That also could be included, which has similar properties. But the mudga here, what is being spoken about is the green whole gram, which we generally use for getting sprouts, and we use it in the salads, and the ones which are used for various other dishes, like the curries and stuff like that. So the green gram addresses to the whole moong generally, but we can also include the moong dal, you know um, for it. I hope I'm clear. The green moong, which is whole, which is not made into a dal. I guess I'm clear with it. So that could be included in your daily diet, of course, in various forms, either boiled or raw, sprouted, or you know but as such, there are a lot of opinions about sprouts in Ayurveda as such. Most too much of the sprouts is again not advised as per Ayurveda, because it is not good for the eyesight, basically, one thing. So people who have the habit of having sprouts every day, either it is of the green gram, or whichever, you have to avoid sprouts every day. It can be had occasionally, like twice a week, but definitely not every day. So there's again a lot of controversy as to sprouts should be had or not. But definitely Ayurveda doesn't endorse sprout every day, whether it's green gram or in other forms. The best form to have green moong is to boil it and have. Okay, boiling green moong and having either in the form of curries or pancakes or whatever, that is the best form of having moong. And it has various health benefits. As I already discussed yesterday, it has a lot of health benefits. So definitely green moong can be had in everyday diet as per. Any questions related to Ayurveda? Any questions related to the yesterday's webinar could be definitely addressed here. And one of the very important quality of green gram is that it is rich in fiber, it has nutrient value, it is low in glycemic index, and it has a lot of benefits that way. So I think it's a best alternate for any other dals as per. Or in general, and please also do suggest either in the Ayurdynamic app or in the question and answer sessions as to what you want to hear about. What are the topics you would like to hear about? We can definitely address them. Of course, most of us definitely concentrate on the food articles which has to be had every day, but it is also important to keep in mind as to what are the things which shouldn't be had every day, which has to be avoided every day. So that is very important to keep that in mind, because most of us, as I was speaking about the dried vegetables and the dried meat. Of course, I couldn't elaborate it because of the time constraint, but definitely, um, what how do we interpret the dried vegetables and dried meat is that the vegetables which is processed, which is stored, or the meat which is processed heavily or stored, the ones which you get ready to have in the supermarkets, and which you get and store in the refrigerator for a longer duration. If you store it for weeks and many days and many weeks, definitely that could be something which gets the dryness, that gets the ruksha guna as per Ayurveda. So that definitely that can aggravate your vata. So please avoid storing vegetables, fruits, or meat, anything on in a longer duration in the refrigerator. It should always be got fresh. Okay, so there's a question here. Can you please elaborate on honey consumption? Why honey is bad when heated directly or indirectly? Okay, so this is a very interesting question, because most of the people ask. See, honey is something, as I told you, it has a lot of health benefits. It is something which is recommended for everyday usage. It is rich in nutrients, it is rich in antioxidants, it helps reduce or maintain weight as such, and it has a lot of bioactive constituents and etc., which I discussed yesterday. So the best method to have honey is either have it directly, 2 teaspoons, as per the requirement of the person, whether the person is obese or the person is maintaining a good BMI, the body mass index. So depending on that, you can vary your dosage of honey, but it is best to have it raw. Either just take in 1 or 2 teaspoons of honey directly, or you can, either if you cannot have it directly, either you can have it as with half a glass of plain water or so, or even if you want to have it with milk, that is also welcome, but make sure the milk is at room temperature. The second part of your question, why honey is bad when heated directly or indirectly. There is a few logics and few researches which have been done by many of the Ayurveda scholars, as I know, and honey is something which could release toxins when heated. Okay, because we also don't know, um, most of the times we are not sure from where the honey, from which flower, when, from which a poisonous plant also the nectar is collected. So when it is heated, it could release certain toxins. So that is one of the logics why honey is bad heated directly or indirectly. It is but in the recent times it is very intriguing. It's very sad to know that there are many recipes where honey is directly heated on the pan. It is definitely that is not included in the Indian cuisines, as I have seen. Because 70 to 80% of the times they do follow Ayurveda guidelines, food guidelines. So I have not seen that directly in the Indian cuisines till date, but definitely in the Western cuisines, it is heated in many of the recipes, as I've seen, which is not good to be done, because yes, it could release toxins. So that is one of the logics, and it is not recommended. So it should always be had at room temperature. Yeah, if your honey can be consumed with warm. See, warm is again room temperature. So if you hot is something which is above room temperature, so you can have it at anything room temperature. All right, so a glass of milk or a glass of water, whatever it is, you can have it in room temperature. You can mix it with room temperature and have. Definitely not, because honey is again given as respiratory congestion, when there is phlegm built up, when you need expectoration, when you have a lot of sputum inside. So it is um, given with uh, again the herbal powders of Ayurveda, the churnas of Ayurveda, which is that is also at room temperature. So wherever is honey given, it is at room temperature. So definitely that one thing has to be kept in mind, because I have seen so many people consume honey with hot water, and that is definitely not recommended. It's definitely not recommended. So that is one thing what we have to keep in mind about honey specifically. Thank you so much for the questions. Yeah, any more questions about yesterday's talk? I would be happy to address them. Any suggestions for the future webinars? Definitely I would like to address them too, um, because it's such a vast topic. Even the topic which was discussed yesterday, um, uh, you know what should be had every day and what should not be had every day, is a very vast topic, and each of the ingredients what were discussed, each of them requires a separate webinar actually. So it has a lot to discuss regarding its compositions, regarding its constituents, regarding its properties, and why it should be had or not to be had. So um, like say for example, again, if we take about what I was discussing about kurchika and kilata, uh, like say it could be compared to cheese, paneer and stuff like that. um, Again, we think that holding your body with proteins, and it's a very good idea, but Ayurveda doesn't see nutrition in those aspects. All right, we Ayurveda doesn't have the concept of macro and micronutrients as such at all. Okay, we have the idea of nutrition or the idea of food is entirely different from the modern science, as Ayurveda describes. It is I see people drinking protein shakes every day, and they calculate their calories. The calorie concept and the nutrition concept is a recent introduction from the Western science, but Ayurveda doesn't have these concepts at all. The concepts of Ayurveda is purely the assessment of a food article according to Ayurveda is um, it is completely based on whether it is disturbing or increasing or decreasing what dosha. It is good for increasing what type of body tissue, and and its taste, its properties, and there are many other concepts which um, Ayurveda assesses a food item with. So it is uh, only the recent studies could come up with this correlation as to what this has and what this doesn't have, and um, just to prove the point of Ayurveda, but definitely it is not our parameters as such. So that is one thing. Because yeah, why I bought this topic of cheese and things like that is that people, the Westerners specifically, have that have this concept that it is very rich in proteins, and it is very rich in many of the nutrients, so you can have it every day. It's not it definitely it could have the nutrients, but it's again very heavy for digestion and not for everyone again. So as I told you, if you're very confident about your digestive capacity, irrespective of the season, so um, that can definitely be had. And talking about the seasons again, the food articles also depend on which season we are having, because the Western concept doesn't have this concept of seasonal digestion issues. Okay, so I have few different in elderly or in women or women. Yeah, definitely we'll definitely keep this in mind, and it's a great suggestion in fact, because the food, as I was telling you, the choices of food as per Ayurveda greatly vary capacity of a person, what is the season when we are taking those food articles, and so depending on all that we have separate food mentioned. And again, whether it's daytime or nighttime, we are having the food, whether it's a supper or a breakfast or a lunch. So depending on that as well, we have the food concept. So definitely we have to address that. And yeah, in elderly as well, the food choices cannot be the same as a young person, and as an adult, because the digestion again changes. So definitely we'll do this thing. See, the Western concept again is coming up with these words like bio individuality. The other day I was hearing a doctor speak, and he was referring to bio individuality. If we go, these terms are very recently included in the medical scenarios these days. But this bio individuality, if we consider it carefully, it is nothing but the concept of prakriti, or the body constitution according to Ayurveda, which has been told like thousands of years ago. So this is not something which is new to Ayurveda at all. But yeah, happy to see that even the Western science is slowly getting to realize that every body is different, every person is different, and the food choices also should be different for each person. It is not only about the calories, it's not only about the body mass index and things like that. So definitely, yeah, it's a great suggestion by Suzanne. We definitely will include this topic in the future webinars. We'll keep that in mind. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, any more questions about the yesterday's webinar? Yeah, thank you, Suzanne. Any more questions about the yesterday's webinar, or anything related to your health condition, or anything related to Ayurveda in general you want to know? We'll be really happy to address it as such. And the reason why we started talking about food at first is that I'm the because it is something, again, as I told you, which is under our control. It has the great capacity to modify our health conditions, which can make it better or worse depending on our food choices. So it is one of the factors which majorly affects our health, either in a good way or a bad way. So it is definitely important to know about our food choices first. And in the coming webinars, we are definitely also addressing about various other concepts like what are the daily regimens, what do you have to follow as soon as you get up in the morning, and the whole day, and your night regimen for like sleep hygiene and stuff like that, and the seasonal regimens for summer, for rainy season, and for winter season, for spring, for autumn, all the seasonal regimens. So we'll discuss about that as well in the coming webinars. Or any other suggestions, you're definitely welcome to ask, or ask questions about the health concepts, because it's always better to clear off the concepts instead of following something which is heard from somewhere and which could be wrong and which could be affecting your health unknowingly. So it's always about improvement when it comes to health. So the more we study, or the more we get the knowledge about the health concepts, the better. So any more questions, any more queries, you can feel free to ask. Again, as I told you at the end, it's always better to follow these do's and don'ts, what we discussed yesterday. That is only regarding the healthy person. It's not for people who have health conditions. Again, I repeat, because people who are having certain health conditions could be uh, having their own do's and don'ts. So it is not for the health people. Yeah, definitely sharing questions in the app, definitely. I think yeah, I think you can please download the Ayurdynamic app. You can ask, there is a separate question and answer section there. You can definitely ask questions, anything related to Ayurveda health. We would definitely be happy to address them on the Ayurdynamic app. You can make suggestions there as well. All right, so and you also have the Swasthyam WhatsApp contact in the group, and you can definitely address the questions. You can contact for consultations, and you can, and yeah, there are regular food the articles which are being published there. um, so the regular articles are being published, a short article which is like a 1 or 2 minute read. So you can definitely go through them, and you can ask questions there. Yeah, definitely. So you can definitely ask questions there. Please make use of the Ayurdynamic app. And yeah, for okay, so please register on the Ayurdynamic app, which I forgot to mention. Once you install the Ayurdynamic app, you please register yourself, log in, and access the question and answer section there. And if you don't log in or register yourself, it's a very simple procedure to register there. And please register and make use of the question and answer section, and you can start discussion about health topics there, which could be useful for everyone, in fact, of course, for yourself and for others as well. Okay, so because if you are not logged in there, it is if you don't register yourself there, it is only the articles which you would be able to access. So, and we have many more plans coming up there as well. We have plans of many more activities, like the discussion forums and consultations and everything over there. So please download the app and register yourself for free, and you can have multiple benefits from there. And of course, the webinar recordings which you would have missed in the past, or which you would miss in the future, they are all, the recordings are in the app. So please make use of those materials which is accessible on the app. So please download the Ayurdynamic app today and register yourself. You can check on the app regularly for the updates as well. We are definitely thinking of introducing a lot more activities there. So, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So, any other questions regarding either yesterday's webinar or about any other health topics? You are welcome to either unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can type the question in the chat box. So, okay, so there's probably I could take this question because it's 4 minutes left. Okay, why should we avoid ghee? No, no, no. We shouldn't be definitely avoiding ghee, because I think according to yesterday's talk, I had told that cow's ghee is something. The cow's clarified butter is something which is to be had every day. There is no question of avoiding ghee as well. It is to be included in the daily diet. All right, so that has to be taken in the that's something which is advised to have in the daily diet, because it is extremely good for your bone health. It is extremely good for your digestion. It doesn't increase your cholesterol levels and cause obesity or whatever when it is taken in its pure form. Because so definitely there is no question of avoiding ghee. Many people do tend to avoid uh, citing cholesterol things and all that, but definitely not. You should have ghee every day. So there's another question: is it common to change doshas throughout your life? See, the doshas can be in any state. Again, this is a very big discussion, but I will tell you in brief that if the doshas can be in the form of your prakriti. Prakriti is something which is your body constitution. So I can be a kapha related prakriti, or I can be a vata related prakriti, or pitta related prakriti, or in combination. So that doesn't change throughout life. All right, so the basis of what doshas I'm built with, the characteristics I'm built with, that definitely doesn't change throughout life. Okay, so once you're born with it, you're until you're going to go, this the prakriti doesn't change. There is no question of prakriti changing, but doshas could change tentatively depending on your disease or health condition. All right, so it is your normalcy and the doshas which are related to your diseases. But again, this is intriguing again, that supposedly if I'm a vata related body constitution, then definitely or the mind constitution again, then definitely I'm susceptible for having diseases which are related to vata, like degenerations, weight loss, arthritis, kind of things. So it is of course there are 80 pure vata diseases, 40 pure pitta diseases, and 20 pure kapha diseases which I mentioned in Ayurveda. That is a whole new topic, but yeah, those particular diseases could be more seen in that particular prakriti. So I think if you're familiar with the basic concepts like this, I think you'll get my answer, though I don't know if I got your question right. Okay, so if you're talking about doshas related to the body constitution, body and mind constitution, you're born with it and you'll die with it. There is no question of changing. And the disease conditions, again, you're susceptible for those particular dosha diseases, related diseases. So that can keep changing. The health or ill health related doshas keep changing throughout life, depending on your lifestyle, depending on your food, depending on your everything, your the area where you live. So that keeps changing, but your okay, thank you. So I hope I clarified your question, because I'm not sure that was the thing you asked to me. So thank you so much, all. Any other queries? Please come up with question and answers in the Ayurdynamic app. Kindly register yourself there, and you can make use of the app. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking all these questions. I hope it was useful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in.